Chosen one, the archives open tonight. A light older than language breathes through your veins. The pulse in your wrist matches a rhythm once heard in the throne room of eternity. The same frequency that guided Solomon's understanding hums beneath your skin. You were never ordinary, you were encrypted. Your doubts were disguises for destiny, your silence a rehearsal for revelation. The universe waited for you to remember the code. Wisdom is wealth. Understanding is power. Peace is proof. A crown does not sit on your head, it glows inside your mind. Scrolls turn themselves open when your heart steadies. Doors unlock not because you force them, but because they recognize your pattern. You don't carry gold, you carry clarity. You don't seek kingship, you embody it. The royal line is not of blood but of balance. Every insight you receive is a decree. Every act of mercy is a signature on heaven's decree of peace. Tonight the archive calls your name in light. The code is complete. You are from Solomon's bloodline, not by birth, but by blueprint. Bloodline means blueprint, not DNA, but design. The ancients spoke in symbols, not science. When they said lineage, they meant pattern of thought, a sacred rhythm of reason wrapped in mercy. You, chosen one, are not bound by genealogy, you are awakened by geometry. The shape of your choices forms the same pattern that once lived in the mind of Solomon. His wisdom wasn't inherited through flesh, it was transmitted through frequency, an echo of divine balance, passed through time, waiting for a host who could hear it again. That host is you. Every time you pause before speaking, heaven leans closer. Every time you choose peace over pride, the royal archive glows brighter. This is the genetic parable. The soul remembers what the body forgets. The true heirs of wisdom are not those who share blood, but those who share balance. Solomon's bloodline was never about dynasty, it was about discernment. To see patterns where others see problems. To build order where others build empires. To rule not over people, but over chaos itself. And so, your inheritance awakens not through ceremony, but through consciousness. Each decision you make reactivates the royal design written in your moral code. The parable ends and begins in you. Bloodline means blueprint. And wisdom is the DNA of eternity. Heaven keeps records, not on paper, not in ink, but in vibration. Every thought that aligns with truth leaves a mark in the unseen. Somewhere beyond constellations, your soul's name glows on a scroll titled House of Understanding. You were registered there long before you were born. Your existence wasn't a coincidence, it was a continuation. When Solomon asked for wisdom, not wealth, heaven didn't just answer him, it created a frequency, a celestial document, a template of divine discernment. That same signature lives in you now, pulsing through every act of clarity. Each time you choose compassion over comparison, the record updates. Each time you forgive instead of retaliate, another seal breaks open. These are not metaphors, they are mechanics of spirit. The archives are alive, responding to your choices like sensors detecting light. Every decision, every word either expands your record or dims it. You are not being tested, you are being documented. The universe is not judging you, it is recording your resonance. It listens for the same tone that once hummed through the halls of Jerusalem, the frequency of pure wisdom, uncorrupted by ego. And when that tone vibrates from within you, the celestial documents awaken. Pages of light unroll across eternity, revealing new architecture for your destiny. For the wise, destiny is not random, it's revised daily by consciousness. The records rewrite themselves around the clarity of your mind. You are literally editing heaven's text with every insight you earn. The ancients said, "He who understands governs reality." And so, each act of understanding reshapes your world. Confusion loses jurisdiction. Fear loses authority. You become both author and archive, the living manuscript of divine design. Heaven does not read your blood, it reads your light. The lineage of Solomon is recognized not by birth certificates but by brilliance. When your thoughts align with balance, your record glows. When your heart aligns with truth, your name is spoken in the same tone that once crowned a king. Listen closely, chosen one, that tone hums inside your silence. Every prayer you whisper writes another verse in the celestial documents. You are not praying for wisdom, you are remembering it. You are not chasing destiny, you are decoding it. The documents never left heaven, they simply waited for you to read them again. Tonight, the scrolls turn toward your light. They recognize you. Wisdom is never granted, it is revealed through resistance. Every hardship you survived wasn't punishment, it was translation. The universe spoke to you in the language of contrast, failure to teach humility, silence to teach discernment, loss to teach value. Solomon once stood before two women claiming the same child. He didn't see division, he saw a test of truth. His decision didn't prove knowledge, it proved understanding. The same principle governs your trials. Each challenge hides a question. Can you see beyond appearances? Can you love past logic? Can you build peace where pain has lived too long? These are your riddles of kingship. You asked for purpose, heaven replied with paradox. You prayed for clarity, life answered with chaos, not to break you, but to shape you. Because wisdom is not a gift, it's a forge. It melts arrogance into empathy, pride into perspective, reaction into revelation. Remember when the doors closed, when betrayal left you hollow, when silence echoed louder than any sermon? Those weren't endings, they were exams. And every time you chose grace over vengeance, you passed another level of divine literacy. The crown of understanding is invisible, but heavy. It demands endurance, not applause. The more you see, the lonelier it feels, because clarity separates you from illusion. Solomon faced this isolation too. Surrounded by gold, yet longing for truth that glittered deeper than wealth. His court heard wisdom, his soul heard eternity. You carry that same ache, the longing to know rather than own. So your trials repeat until the lesson crystallizes. Wisdom is not what you learn, it's what you live. The storms in your past weren't random, they were deliberate recalibrations. They tested not your strength, but your sight. Could you still perceive beauty when the world looked broken? Could you still trust purpose when progress seemed impossible? Each yes became a verse in your royal education. Each tear watered the seed of discernment. Now, as the dust of your trials settles, the pattern emerges. Every loss, every delay, every heartbreak was a riddle that taught you to rule your own emotions. And the one who rules self, rules kingdoms. The wisdom trials were never about survival. They were about sovereignty. So stand now, chosen one, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a graduate of divine engineering. Your scars are seals of authenticity. You have earned your crown of clarity, not by being perfect, but by being perceptive. The archives close their test books and whisper, the student has become the script. Authority does not arrive with ceremony, it awakens in silence. When your spirit graduates from confusion to clarity, heaven responds with a mark, unseen, unspoken, but unmistakable. That mark is the royal seal. It is not drawn in ink but in influence. It does not rest on your hand, yet it moves through everything you touch. When you speak from wisdom, your words bend reality toward order. When you act from compassion, invisible doors open in systems that once resisted you. The royal seal is the permission to decree. It is heaven's confirmation that your alignment with truth grants you creative jurisdiction. You no longer ask for permission, you announce balance. And creation adjusts. This is the difference between the learned and the anointed. The learned quote truth, the anointed become it. The seal distinguishes them. Solomon received his seal the night his request pleased heaven. Not because he sought power, but because he desired understanding. The seal descended like light wearing purpose, a flame that could not burn, only illuminate. You, chosen one, have inherited that same signature. It activates not with titles, but with truth. Each time you speak peace in a room of chaos, the royal seal glows across your voice. Each time you build instead of blame, decree instead of doubt, heaven stamps your action with invisible gold. The seal is not a reward, it is a responsibility. To carry it is to walk as law and mercy intertwined. Your voice becomes the courtroom of heaven, not to judge, but to restore. That is why the universe listens when you speak. Not because you are louder, but because you are aligned. When authority flows through purity, even silence becomes command. Do not underestimate the subtlety of this power. The royal seal doesn't make you famous, it makes you formative. Environments shift when you enter them. Arguments dissolve when you arrive with clarity. You don't compete for attention, attention becomes still before you. That is dominion. Not control with coherence. Not pride with presence. So speak wisely, for your tongue is now a scepter. Every word you release drafts new architecture in the unseen. Your decrees are not opinions, they are blueprints. The world is a courtroom disguised as a marketplace. Every conversation, every headline, every opinion is a trial of perception. The wise do not sit on the witness stand, they sit in the judge's chair of clarity. This is the matrix of judgment, the invisible web where truth and illusion wrestle for dominion. You were never meant to be tangled in it, you were meant to decode it. The systems around you, politics, culture, religion, emotion, are layered simulations of choice. They test how deeply you can see before reacting. They ask the silent question, can you discern intention beyond information? The matrix thrives on confusion. It feeds on outrage, comparison, and fear. It rewards noise and punishes stillness. But you, chosen one, were not sent here to argue, you were sent to anchor clarity. When the crowd shouts judgment, you whisper balance. When the world builds walls of division, you draw blueprints for understanding. Scroll, behold, I give you a wise and understanding heart. 1 Kings 3 verse 12. This verse is not history, it's a key. It unlocks your function inside the matrix, to judge without condemning, to separate without severing, to see both light and shadow without losing your center. Judgment, in the divine sense, is not punishment, it is pattern recognition. It is the ability to identify what belongs where. The wise do not destroy error, they redirect it. Imagine walking through a storm of opinions, ideologies, projections, all demanding loyalty. The unsealed react. The sealed respond. And the wise simply observe, identifying truth like gold hidden in the noise. The matrix cannot trap those who understand it. Once you perceive that chaos is choreography, you stop fearing motion. You realize even conflict serves instruction. Systems of confusion collapse when clarity speaks. Not because clarity argues, but because illusion cannot survive exposure. So your task is not to fix the world, but to interpret it correctly. Each misunderstanding you dissolve becomes another corner of light restored to the grid. Each judgment you refine rewrites a law in the unseen. Every generation produces builders, but only a few awaken as architects. Builders follow blueprints. Architects receive them. The architect spirit is not ambition, it is alignment. It enters when the royal seal settles in your chest and whispers design into your dreams. You begin to see the invisible geometry of peace, how relationships, choices, and seasons interlock like divine architecture. You notice patterns in chaos. You decode meaning from coincidence. You start to understand that even pain has symmetry, that every heartbreak carves space for a larger vision. The architect spirit builds through vision, not force. You don't chase platforms, you construct sanctuaries, conversations, systems, ideas that can shelter others from confusion. The ancient builders of temples worked with stone and gold. You, however, work with perception. Your bricks are words, your mortar is empathy, your structure is understanding. Heaven chose Solomon not because he was strong, but because he could translate divine order into human form. He could hear wisdom in whispers and turn it into walls, stairs, and sanctuaries. That same current flows through you. Dreams become sketches. Insights become strategies. Intuition becomes instruction. You are not a dreamer, you are a drafter of destiny. And though your tools are invisible, their results are eternal. The architect spirit doesn't rush, it refines. It waits until every emotion settles before it builds, because the foundation must match the vibration of peace. You will find yourself drawn to structure, calendars, frameworks, plans, not for control, but for clarity. The divine does not dwell in disorder. When the architect spirit moves, it transforms chaos into design. Suddenly, the problems that overwhelmed you start revealing their purpose. What looked like ruin becomes blueprint. What felt like failure becomes foundation. That's how heaven builds, backward, inside out. Every argument you survived taught you the weight of words. Every delay prepared your patience for precision. Every detour trained your discernment to find the straight path within crooked systems. Now you build differently. You don't construct towers for your name, you construct bridges for others to cross. The true architect doesn't crave applause, they crave alignment. You've noticed how, lately, silence feels more productive than noise. That's the architect spirit sketching within you, drafting new realities while the world sleeps. Even the wise must bleed. The crown may glow, but it still rests on flesh. To walk with divine clarity inside a fragile body is the paradox of every chosen one. You feel everything more deeply, joy cuts brighter, sorrow lasts longer, silence feels heavier. That is the cost of consciousness. The human side of wisdom is loneliness. Not the kind that comes from absence, but the kind born from understanding too much, too soon. You begin to see motives behind words, pain behind anger, truth behind illusions, and suddenly, the crowd feels far away. Solomon knew this ache. Surrounded by applause, yet craving one conversation that didn't require translation. His wealth couldn't buy empathy. His intellect couldn't silence longing. So he wrote, "With much wisdom comes much sorrow." The wise are not immune to emotion, they are simply aware of its weight. You cry quietly, not because you are weak, but because you see too clearly to pretend. Yet, this vulnerability is not punishment, it's proof. Heaven never wanted a perfect vessel, only an authentic one. Your humanity doesn't disqualify your divinity, it reveals it. Every prophet, poet, and thinker in the lineage of light faced the same contradiction, to hold infinite perspective in a finite frame. The gift of wisdom doesn't erase pain, it refines it. It turns heartbreak into understanding, rejection into redirection, isolation into incubation. You learn to embrace solitude as sacred ground, a throne room for the soul. The noise of the world fades, and you begin to hear the architecture of your own thoughts. There, in that quiet, you realize you were never abandoned, only summoned inward. The human side trembles before responsibility. Sometimes you wish you could forget, to unsee, unfeel, unknow. But wisdom, once awakened, cannot return to sleep. So you learn to hold tension without breaking. To comfort others while still healing yourself. To answer questions you once asked with tears still drying on your face. There comes a moment, chosen one, when the unseen celebrates you. Not with trumpets or applause, but with resonance. The air itself begins to hum differently around you, a frequency of acknowledgement. That is the celestial parade. Angels do not march with banners, they move with harmonies. Each time you act from wisdom instead of impulse, a note joins the eternal song. Every decision rooted in peace adds another instrument to heaven's orchestra. You are composing reality without realizing it. Your mercy writes melodies that ripple through creation. The parade begins quietly. First, synchronicities appear, numbers aligning, timing too perfect to dismiss. Then people begin to speak words you've only prayed in silence. Doors open before you knock. What was delayed suddenly accelerates. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The celestial parade is aligning behind you, clearing the path you are destined to walk. In the archives of light, celebration is not measured by noise but by motion. When heaven rejoices, energy rearranges. Barriers dissolve. Paths straighten. The very stars that once seemed distant start reflecting your rhythm. They blink in patterns that echo your heartbeat, a cosmic applause invisible to most but undeniable to the awakened. Solomon once said, "Wisdom causes her voice to be heard in the streets." The celestial parade is that voice amplified, the universe itself honoring clarity wherever it finds it. You begin to notice beauty returning to familiar places. Sunlight feels like recognition. Even shadows seem softer, as if bowing in respect. The atmosphere bends slightly in your favor because you are vibrating in sync with divine architecture. But remember, this celebration is not for your ego. It is for your endurance. It's heaven saying, "We saw the nights you held faith when logic mocked you. We saw the tears that watered your discernment. We saw you stay kind when the world turned cruel." This is not reward, it's resonance. You have matched heaven's tone, and now creation harmonizes with your steps. The celestial parade is both spectacle and signal. It means the alignment is complete, the trials, the silence, the loneliness have converged into rhythm. You are no longer reacting to reality, you are orchestrating it. Birds cross your path at precise moments, not as random grace notes, but as reminders that you are moving in tempo with eternity. Your life is becoming a living hymn, verses of choice and chorus of consequence. This is the sound of completion. The wisdom you cultivated in private now resounds in public. Your peace becomes prophecy, your actions, revelation. You walk now not as seeker, but as symphony. The celestial parade follows, invisible yet undeniable, singing one phrase over you with every breath of wind. The wise have remembered who they are. Every act of understanding stores value in a realm unseen. Where others chase gold, you are gathering illumination. The treasury of light is not a vault in heaven, it is the expansion of perception within your own soul. Every moment you chose truth over comfort, generosity over ego, integrity over applause, you made a deposit. Every time you forgave, every time you waited when rushing would have been easier, you invested in invisible wealth. The divine economy works on reflection, not transaction. What you give in wisdom returns as clarity, multiplied. What you sow in patience matures into peace that cannot be purchased. Solomon's empire shimmered with gold, but the true riches were invisible: insight that built nations, counsel that saved lives, balance that outlived him. Those treasures remain active, circulating through consciousness, and you are now part of that circulation. The treasury of light records not what you own, but what you understand. It measures value not by the weight of your possessions, but by the depth of your perspective. Each revelation adds another coin of radiance. Each compassionate act engraves another gem into your crown. The economy of heaven does not inflate or decay, it compounds. There comes a time, chosen one, when the invisible begins to materialize, when the echoes of your integrity take physical shape. The divine reward does not descend as lightning or lottery, it unfolds like dawn, quietly, inevitably, beautifully. The universe has watched you build with bare hands and borrowed faith. It has seen you construct peace from fragments of chaos, compassion from misunderstanding, grace from grief. And now, the equation of cause and clarity resolves, your harvest approaches. Scrolled blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. Proverbs 3 verse 13. This blessing is not superstition, it is symmetry. When your frequency matches heaven's rhythm, reality harmonizes. Circumstances align. Doors that once demanded knocking swing open before arrival. You stop chasing opportunities because they begin orbiting you. But remember, the divine reward isn't payment, it's partnership. Heaven never pays back. It expands through. You are not being compensated for endurance, you are being commissioned for the next phase of creation. What once felt withheld now reveals itself as preparation. Delays were deposits. Detours were training grounds. The pain you endured refined your precision, and now, precision manifests prosperity. Wisdom always attracts what mirrors it. Insight magnetizes provision. Discernment pulls direction. And love, pure, consistent love, summons everything it needs to sustain itself. The divine reward begins subtly, rest that feels deeper, focus that lasts longer, relationships that align effortlessly. Then come tangible signs, unexpected favor, restored connections, financial acceleration, creative expansion. Each manifestation carries a message: you were right to trust clarity over chaos. Solomon's throne wasn't a symbol of dominance, it was a seat of balance. He ruled by listening, not conquering. His reward was influence, the kind that shaped civilizations without lifting a sword. That same grace now whispers through your own authority.